As a salon or spa owner, cosmetology school gave you the skills to serve clients, but it definitely didn't teach you how to run a business. Somewhere along the way, you probably thought ownership would mean freedom, but instead you're working more hours than ever, barely paying yourself, and low-key worried everything's going to fall apart the second you step away. Welcome to the Beauty Biz Breakdown, where we give you the real strategies, systems, and structure that you need to fully step into the CEO seat in your beauty business. Hey friends, welcome back to the Beauty Biz Breakdown, the go-to podcast for salon and spa owners who are ready to build a more profitable, more predictable beauty business. I'm Bri, and as always, I've got my co-host Chandra here with me today. Hey girl.
Hello, hello.
How are ya?
Doing good. I'm ready to dive into part 2 today, so this should be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you out there listening, last episode, we talked about your Google business profile. We talked about your categories, your service list, your reviews, your responses, all that kind of stuff. So if you started working through those things, great. Keep going, keep working, get it all fixed. If you haven't, you may want to pause this episode, go back and listen to part 1, and then come back to this episode because you need those things fixed first before you get into what we're going to talk about today. So here's something that a lot of business owners don't know. Your Google profile is literally just a tiny, tiny piece of the puzzle, like very minute. Google isn't only looking at what's on that page. In other words, it's looking at your website. It's looking at your booking system, every directory that your business shows up on, and whether all of them actually match or coincide together. So today we're getting into the part most salon owners never even think about, the stuff happening outside your profile that's quietly deciding whether Google trusts you and your business enough to put you in front and on top so all of the new clients can find you. Chandra, do you think most owners assume once their profile part is kind of fixed, the Google work is basically done?
Oh yeah, I'm sure that they do assume that because I used to assume that too before I learned about all of it. And I just figured, wow, Google's good. Now I'll go on to something else. And yeah, unfortunately, it's all connected.
It really is. I was the same way. I kind of got that piece done and I was like, okay, cool. We're on Google. Yay, we're good to go. No, not how it works. So everybody out there, you got to have all the pieces together. So let's start with your website, because I think this is where a lot of you don't really realize that you're accidentally making things harder on yourselves than they have to be. Your Google profile can say that you specialize in something, but your website, it has to back that up if that's what you're going to claim. It can't just say it and then not really back it up in any way. So if your Google profile says that you specialize in hair extensions, but your website, it barely mentions extensions anywhere or doesn't mention it at all, that's going to be a big problem. If you want more facial clients, your website needs to actually talk about facials in a way that makes sense to a brand new client as well. If you want more bridal, blonding, lashes, brows, waxing, whatever it is, people need to be able to land on your website and quickly understand that you do that service. They need to understand where you're located and how they can book. And they all have to come together in every single platform. I'm not talking about some huge, fancy, over-the-top website that costs a fortune and takes 6 months to build either. You don't need that. I'm just talking about clarity, a page or even a strong section that just explains what the service is, who it's for, what they can expect, and what their next step should be. A lot of owners, they have websites that look really, really nice, really pretty, but they don't actually say enough about anything on there. It will say things like luxury beauty experience or custom service designed for you. And that sounds great, but a new client is still sitting there trying to figure out if you offer the actual thing that they're searching for on Google. That's where owners have to stop thinking only like the person inside of the business. We talked about this last time, and they have to start looking at it like a client who has never even met you before. You know what you do. We said this. Your team knows what you do. Your regular clients probably know. But the person who typed in hair extensions near me or custom facials in Phoenix, they don't know much of anything yet about you. They're trying to figure it out based on what information you've made available. So if your website is really vague, if it's outdated or too cute to be clear, that can actually work against you. Look, I love good branding. I really do. I think it's important. But branding should not make people work harder to understand how they are going to give you their money. If somebody has to work that hard just to understand what you offer, they're probably not going to stick around long enough to actually book with you. Chandra, when you look at a salon or spa website, because we do this a lot in our coaching business, do you feel like you can usually tell pretty quickly if they are making it easy for a new client to understand what they actually do?
Sometimes, but most of the time, no. I would say most people still don't. It's kind of the same thing. I feel like they're thinking with their brain inside their business and what they think their business is like instead of looking at it from a perspective as a new client. So, yeah, I think most of the time, no.
I agree with that. It's the verbiage that we use. It's all kind of things. And a new client, they should not have to dig through 6 different pages, click 17 buttons, and like decode your entire brand language just to figure out if you offer a freaking haircut. That shouldn't happen. If somebody is searching for, let's say, hair extensions in Fort Worth, Texas, your website should make it really clear and obvious that you offer that exact thing. That's how it has to work together. Okay. So you've got to make sure that you're doing this. You've got to make sure that you are making it easy, and you have to show them how to take the exact next step that you want them to take. That's going to be extremely important. Now, the next piece that we're going to talk about is your booking page. Most salon and spa owners are using a CRM system like DaySmart or Mevo or whatever freaking system you use. There are a freaking ton of them right now. It's insane. Those systems are great for actually booking the appointment. But sometimes the service menu inside of those platforms, it's literally a hot mess. It really is. I get it. Cute or original service names, they're fun. They're cool to create. They're neat to make. But they can cause a problem if you're not careful. If your Google profile says balayage and your website says custom dimensional package, and then your booking page even says something different, now you've got 3 pieces and it can be a mess. Nobody knows what in the heck they're actually supposed to click and book on. You've got to make sure that they line up all the way across. You have to think about these brand new clients who have never been to your studio. They have to have clarity. If they don't understand what to book, most of them are going to go somewhere else. I promise you. The reality is a lot of them are not going to call you and ask what this means, what this service is, what you offer. They're going to click out. They're going to go somewhere else that feels easier, and you are going to lose money. So everything needs to make sense and match for the most part. Don't have a Cheesecake Factory-like service menu for your salon or spa. It's never going to work. Chandra, have you ever looked at a booking menu and thought, I literally have no idea what I am supposed to choose here?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think too, like you said, when people have those fun names, like you think it's so fun to put those different names on there. But I don't even in the industry, I see some of the ones that people have, and I don't know what the heck they're even offering in that bundle or package or whatever it is that they're saying this name of their blonding services, you know? And so I think, yeah, I think that they keep putting stuff like that out there and they don't realize it, and it has to match, like you said.
Absolutely. It's funny that you say that. I was booking something for my daughter the other day, and I'm in the industry, but I'm not real familiarized when it comes to like a lot of skin stuff. Like that's just not my thing. I know what some of it is, but it's just not my thing. And so I was booking my daughter a service at a place, and she told me specifically the service that she wanted. And so I went on to like 3 different websites, and none of them had that service on there. I mean, let me rephrase that. They did, but they didn't have it phrased in the way of what she called it. So it's so important that the language that you use, whatever you choose, you are using it everywhere. And the number 1 rule from yesterday was what? Make sure it is what people are searching for. You cannot keep making it hard for people to give you money. Like you're shooting yourself in the foot. That's all I'm trying to say. It's not okay. The next thing I want to talk about is something called NAP. And I promise this is not as complicated as it sounds at all. NAP is what people in the SEO world call your name, your address, and your phone number. Thrilling, right? I know. So fun. It matters. Google is looking around the internet to see if your business information matches. So if your Google profile has one phone number, Yelp has another one, your booking platform still has the location and phone number from 3 years ago, that is going to create major, major confusion. And believe it or not, The algorithm, even though it's smart, it gets confused really quickly, and your clients get confused even more quickly. So you've got to be really careful. This happens a lot because businesses move, they rebrand, they change websites, they switch booking platforms, they even change names at times. The owner probably does their job of updating the one main thing that they think gets used all the time, but they forget the old information is still floating around online. So you have to check the places that really, really matter when it comes to this NAP. Google, Apple Maps, Bing, Yelp, Facebook, Instagram, your booking platform, your Chamber of Commerce listing, if you have one of those, any local directories that you're a part of, wedding directories, if you do bridal, and any industry directories that your clients or people would actually use. Now, don't go submit your business to 400 random directories because some SEO guy told you to, do all of that. It doesn't work that way. I have seen people go ham and wild when they hear things like this on podcasts. They kind of overperform, Chandra, like they try to change everything and just keep stacking more and more on top. That's not a good thing in any way, shape, or form. Chandra, if you were focusing on these certain things, trying to make sure your name, your address, your phone number, everything was looking at, what are the top 5 places that you would probably correct first?
I mean, I think definitely your Google profile, like we've been saying, is number one. I think your website would be number two. Any booking software you use would be the number 3 place. And then I think, it depends on what you have. Your CRM, if your CRM is connected to your social platforms, that would be the next one that you need to make sure. And then any like Yelp, some of the most popular ones need to all kind of go across the same platform. But even your social media channels, every single thing needs to be the same. But for sure, I think those top ones, if you have those, at least Google starts to know you, they start to recognize you. But if you don't have those things right, then it's going to get confused.
And it's extremely frustrating for the client. I can just, like the other day, my husband and I, we were out and about, we were doing something and we found somewhere that we wanted to go. And so, of course, I looked it up on Google, hit the phone number, disconnected, didn't work. So we thought maybe the business was shut down. We went ahead and pulled up the maps and they were like still saying that they were open. I saw on their social media that they had new stuff that was out. So obviously they're still open. The address on Google was incorrect. The address on Yelp was incorrect. The address on their social media was correct. Literally took us 45 minutes to find this place just to get an address to put into our GPS. And that is absolutely crazy. Now, we were bored. We had the time. We went ahead and went. But most people aren't going to do that. Chandra, businesses like ours, we do tend to move. We upgrade to a bigger building, even change our names and do things like that. Do you think people realize how much there is to do behind the scenes when they do something like that?
No, I don't think so. And I think a lot of those platforms get forgotten. So like if you did go and spam yourself across, 100 different directories and 100 different things and you moved and you only changed a couple, then now your address is going to be wrong in a lot of different places. And so I think that you don't think about those things. You kind of just think about the main ones and then you forget, oh, maybe I should update Yelp because people actually still go to Yelp. Or my social media is right, like the business that you went to, their social media might be right because that's all they focus on, but then they forget about their Google profile or, the Google Maps and those things. So definitely it's a lot of work to set up. So when you change it, it's a lot of work to change it too. And so you have to remember all of those different areas.
Yeah. And when you miss a piece, it makes your business look disorganized. Even if your actual salon or spa runs beautifully, it makes you look disorganized. And for a lot of us out there, especially people like me, disorganization makes me lose trust in the person and in the business. So it's really important. Okay, another outside piece that a lot of owners, they don't really think about is local mentions and links. So I want to explain this in just normal words. A backlink is just when another website links to your website. That's how it is. That's what it is. It sounds a lot fancier than what it is. A local, it mentions when your business is being talked about. So it's a mention for when your business is being talked about or listed somewhere else online. This could be maybe one of those Chamber of Commerce listings, a local magazine feature, a link that they got, a vendor directory for weddings. photographer's blog, anything like that. These things are really, really important and they matter because they show your business is real, it's active, and it's connected in your community. These things don't get talked about enough, I don't think, when we're talking about our Google profile and stuff. This is where I think a lot of salon and spa owners, they really miss the bigger picture. Being known locally, it's not only good for referrals, it can also help support what Google sees around your business. So it's really important. Chandra, do you think owners realize that the community stuff that they are already doing can also help their online visibility if it actually links back to their business?
Yeah, no, I just don't think that salon owners think about it, because I didn't think about it either until I learned about these things and the backlinks and the I think the biggest aha moment that most salon owners have when they start going through this stuff is you realize the most important thing is for you to be known locally, because that's where your clients are coming from. Your clients aren't coming from, other states or different places that you might be marketing towards on your social media. And you forget, like, the local market is the market where you're going to get your business from. And so I think we just don't even know. I feel like salon owners aren't always the most technically savvy. And so I feel like they just have no idea what's even possible or what they can even try for, their business to get that word out there.
Yeah, you definitely need to audit those backlinks and your mentions wherever you're seeing them, wherever you're being tagged, wherever you've got those links out there. Definitely click on them. Make sure they are still working, number one. And number two, that they are redirecting to exactly where you want these people to be sent. It can be a game changer. Okay, one of the things that I absolutely love is competitor audits, and they can be super, super helpful to do. Most owners either never do these or they do it in a way that kind of makes them spiral just a little bit. So I want you to pull out your phone right now and I want you to search your top 3 services the exact way that a client would. So for me, I would search hair extensions near me, balayage in Fort Worth. You could do, if you're in West Texas, lash extensions in Midland, Texas, best salon near me, whatever fits your exact business. I want you to search the top 3 that you think clients are looking for. Now, don't immediately start spiraling because somebody else is above you when you do this. Because I did that at first. I'm very competitive and it really ticked me off. I'm not going to lie. I was crying in the car that day because I'm just competitive. We're just gathering information when we're doing this stuff, okay? Now, if you happen to be number 1 without having to run an ad, props to you. That's freaking awesome. It's amazing. But this is not going to be the case for the majority of salon and spa owners out there. So don't just look at who pulls up number 1 and get discouraged. Don't do that. Actually study what they've built. You want to audit exactly what they've done. Look at their category. Look at how many reviews they have, how recent those reviews are, whether reviews mention the specific service, their photos, whether their Q&A is filled out, whether they have a booking link. This isn't about copying them at all. That's not what it's about. Seeing what Google's actually rewarding in your area and figuring out where you are weaker. That's the whole point of it. You have to find the areas that you need to improve if you want your ranking to go up. Chandra, do you think owners sometimes avoid looking at competitors because it makes them feel insecure instead of using it as actual business information?
Oh yeah, I think they avoid it because they don't even want to know. And then I think also sometimes, like you said, when they do look, then they start freaking out and trying to figure out all these crazy things to do to try to, like, get themselves moved up there. And instead of actually looking at what that place is doing, they just are like, well, I don't know. They get upset and they start adding like 500 directories to their thing or who knows what. But yeah.
Well, and Google can be tricky. Like, it has all of these shiny objects that are like, spend money and we'll put you on top. That's the easy way out. Anybody can spend money to be put on top. You really want to fix these things so you're not having to spend money and you're doing it the right way. I know for me, when I first opened my salon, that's what I did. I ran Google ads, ran them all the time. Had my profile been set up right, I might not have had to run ads. Had it been set up right, I might have made triple what I made when running the ads. So it's really, really important that you get this fixed. Okay, one of the last things that I think we need to talk about is the part that kind of ties everything together. You have to actually track what is working. I hear so many salon owners say, I don't know if Google's working for me. I don't know, what it's bringing in. If you are doing your job and you're tracking, you should know those things. You'll never wonder if it's working or not. Like I've said a million times, most of you set up your Google profile and then you just never looked at it again. You have to be watching how many calls you're getting from that, how many website clicks, how many direction requests, how many people are clicking into that booking link. You have to look at those things. Oh, yeah. And here's something else. And it's really, really simple. Stop just asking new clients, how'd you hear about us? Get specific. Ask if it was Google search, if it was TikTok, Instagram, if it was a referral, whatever it was, if it was a Google review, that tells you whether Google is actually bringing people in or if it's just sitting there and looking nice. I mean, let's be real. When clients fill out your form in the how'd you hear about us section and they just put online, that helps absolutely no one. Not at all. Like, okay, thank you for that very specific and deeply useful information, people. No, not even close. You've got to get specific. You have to. There's also one tiny upgrade that can really, really help, but you may need to have somebody else set this up for you. Like Chandra said, a lot of us were technically challenged. I am probably number one on that list. It's called a UTM link, which is just a special trackable link on your website or on your booking button that tells you exactly when someone came from your Google profile. That's all it is. So instead of guessing if they came from Google, the link can actually show you that. It's really cool. If that feels, too techie for you, don't make it this whole dramatic event. Start simpler and just update your intake form for now, and then find somebody who can do that link for you. Chandra, do y'all use that type of link in your salon?
Yeah, we do. And it is awesome because you can see all the analytics for that. So it's like if somebody actually scheduled an appointment through our booking site, you can see like all of those different things and all those different tracking. Or like you said, if they clicked from a certain area onto our website from Google, you get to actually pinpoint where people are coming from. And so I think it's really important. It is important to set that up. And it's not that hard, but I do agree with you. I think just to make sure, because sometimes when you get into that platform and you're trying to set that stuff up on your own, just get somebody to do it. It doesn't take them very long at all. It's super fast. And then the amount of information you can get from that is invaluable. So
Yeah, it is one of the coolest things ever. And it's worth paying someone to set it up, I think, because it does give you the information. I think salon and spa owners, once again, you're talking about tracking, you're talking about numbers. They're not just bad with numbers in their business a lot of times. They're bad with numbers in general when it comes to anything. They don't like the tracking. They don't like the technical stuff. And we are just going to have to get better at that because it is becoming more and more prominent every single day for running a business. Chandra, what do you feel is the most important thing to kind of get set up right out of the things that we've talked about today?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is really making sure everything matches. Because if you don't have the same information across all your platforms, any internet stuff that you have, that's when things get muddy and that's when Google doesn't know what to do with you. And so I think getting that set up right first and making sure everything's accurate and everything's the same, that alone is going to make a huge difference in how much traction you're getting from Google.
Yep. I agree with that 100%. That's the one thing that I would have people do. I also think, let's talk about three things that I think would be extremely helpful to kind of get some of this stuff started. First, pick one service you actually want more of. I don't care what it is. Okay. Not every service that you've ever offered since the beginning of time, one service, literally. Okay. Extensions, facials, lashes, color, whatever makes sense for your business right now. Next thing, go search for it like a brand new client would. Do not search your business name because obviously that's not the point. Okay. Search the actual service, find your business, click through and see what happens next. Can they easily understand what you offer? Can they figure out if you are the right fit? Can they book without feeling like they need to send a carrier pigeon or something to ask what button to click next? Third, write down the first three spots where the process felt a little confusing, outdated, or harder than it needs to be, and go and fix those first. Don't turn this into some massive project that you're going to avoid for the next 6 months. Pick the three things that would make it easier for someone to go from searching to booking and get them handled. That's it. That's all you have to do. Pick one service, follow the path, fix the friction. Pretty simple. Chandra, anything you would add to that?
No, I mean, I think that that pretty much sums up everything that has to be working consistently in order for this whole process to actually function the way it's supposed to.
Absolutely. It's really not as hard as we make it out to be. There's a lot of different pieces, but if you'll do it in sections or in chunks, you'll have your Google business profile like up to date and working for you in no time, really. Okay, before we wrap up today's episode, it's time for the listener question. This one is from a solo stylist working out of a suite in Chandler, Arizona. She says, I've only been in the industry for 3 years and I've never raised my prices because I'm terrified of losing clients. I know I am underpriced compared to everyone else in my area. How do I actually do this without scaring everyone off? Chandra, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the first thing you need to do is check and see how busy you are. Like, are you actually booked 85% of the time, or are you only booked 50% of the time? Because if you're only booked 50% of the time, then there's some other things going on that you need to work on to retain those clients. Because generally, don't be afraid to raise your prices if you're booked most of the time, because you're going to lose people. You're always going to lose some people, but if you're busy enough, it doesn't matter. And that leaves room for new people to come in at the higher price. So I know raising prices is scary. There's many years that I have like avoided it because I was just afraid to lose people, but you really have to look at it that way. If you're busy enough, it's absolutely time to raise them and you shouldn't stress about it at all.
100%. Since this person is a little bit newer to the industry, what would you have them look at in their business before making a decision on what those prices should be?
Yeah, I would start tracking your retention, honestly. Like, I don't know, sometimes solo artists don't track that. They don't really pay attention to those numbers. If you're using any type of like software to track your business stuff, that should be able to tell you that. Even the basic ones, I think, can tell you your retention. But if your retention is really low, then I think you need to start looking at things like maybe how does your service look? Is it super professional? Is the technical skill where it needs to be? Kind of diving into those things if your retention isn't there. If it's high, then that's definitely a sign to start raising those prices.
Anything else you would have them look at or just retention?
I mean, I think just retention and really their productivity mostly. I think if they're building a strong business, then their revenue is going to be there. And so if your revenue is there, then you're definitely ready. If you are, I mean, actually, the other thing you really need to look at too is going to be your cash flow. How much money are you bringing in? If your prices are so low that you can't cover your rent and you can't cover things, then you definitely need to raise your prices right away. But I think you have to be careful and make sure that you're in a good spot, that that's not going to negatively impact you.
Absolutely. And just know raising prices are part of business ownership and you're never going to get away from it. Like, I get so discouraged by seeing people that comment on our social media. They're salon owners, they're solo professionals, and they're like, I've been in the industry for 35 years and I would never charge what you're saying to charge, or I would never do. And I'm like, that's why you're still in the industry 35, 40 years later, working your butt off behind the chair 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, because you don't want to make the business decisions that a business owner has to make. We aren't ever trying to screw anyone over. We are never telling people to, charge their clients a ridiculous amount of money. The reality of the situation is businesses have cost associated with them, and you have to be able to pay for all of your expenses and pay yourself a livable wage for doing the services that you do, period. So keep all of that in mind. All right, friends, as we wrap this one up, I want you to remember this. Your business is speaking for you before you ever get a chance to. That's the reality. Before somebody walks in, before they meet your team, before they experience what you have built, they are already forming an opinion based on what they can find online. And that's the part everybody has to realize, and they have to start taking it seriously, because that's a part of leadership, whether you're leading yourself or you're leading a team. Sure, it may not feel exciting. It may not be the thing that you want to do on a random Tuesday, but making sure your business is clear, current, and easy to trust, that is an important part of owning a business. So do the check, Look at it like a client, fix the obvious stuff first, and stop letting little things create doubt for people who were already interested in you. It's going to hurt you a lot. If you're a salon or spa owner out there and you need more structure around maybe your marketing or your numbers or your team or how your business is actually running, head over to our website, thebeautybizagency.com, grab some of our free resources, check out our coaching options, or book a free strategy call with our team. We help salon and spa owners build more profitable, more predictable beauty businesses every single day. If this episode helped you, share it with another salon owner that needs to hear it. Also, if you have a second, please leave us a 5-star review so other beauty pros can find the show. Make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss out on all the stuff we have coming up next. Chandra, how do they do that?
Yeah, make sure you're connecting with us on social media at the Beauty Biz Agency on Instagram and Facebook, or the Beauty Biz Mentors on TikTok. And we would love to hear from you guys. So definitely stay connected.
Right on. Until next time, keep your head in the game, keep paying attention to what your business needs, and do not let the little things be the reason you miss bigger opportunities. Now go out there, make bank, run the show, and ditch that chair. And as always, keep slaying those business goals with a whole lot of swagger. If this episode lit a fire under you, don't just walk away and let it die out. Deep down, you already know where you want your business and your life to go. And the truth is, the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is a real plan to get you there. That's exactly what we help you build. So if you're ready to stop trying to figure it out on your own, head to thebeautybizagency.com and book your free strategy call. That call can give you the clarity that you've been needing and a real plan to move your business forward. Because at the end of the day, the only thing standing between you and the salon business you've been dreaming about is whether or not you're willing to take the action and the steps in order to build it.